The eighth exercise is called Three Birds. Now I'm going to show this exercise, then we'll analyze it in detail. And then the same thing in the other direction, respectively, from the other leg. So, what's going on here? We present you three birds. The first of them is a hummingbird. If any of you have noticed how a hummingbird flaps its wings, this is a very peculiar trajectory, very specific. If anyone has observed, or maybe according to discovery there in the animal world, hummingbirds are waving their wings in a circle, very fast, that's the movement. That is, as a result, we are very good at this movement here. If we put it on the human body, we open the lung canal, and the lungs themselves very well directly. That is, the movement begins from below, as if we are sitting down, knees together, palms we put at 45 degrees, as if on two bedside tables like this. We take root on the right leg, raise the left leg, send our hands back, then slightly up and forward, then very gently lower the sock, as if we are sneaking on thin ice. First the fingers, then the pad, then the heel. And we lower the wings, and already fold them at the dantian level. Let's try hummingbirds separately first. Accordingly, when we make a swing, we open the lungs, inhale. When we sit down, close exhale. Shall we try? Here are all the intermediate moments of natural breathing. In other words, breathing is still natural here, and from here, the inhale begins. Exhale. Let's try the other leg as well. Inhale. Exhale. When we lower the handles, we bend our knees and open the Ming Men between the second and third vertebrae. I remind you, the gate of life is a very important zone. That is, when we sit down, revealing this zone. So, the first bird is a hummingbird, the second bird is a crane. A white crane soars high in the clouds. Look, this is the situation first of all, but I'll show you now, and then we'll sort it out. We raise our hands up through the sides, raise the knee, and smoothly lower our hands down in the same way the sock, the beginning of the fingers, the pad, the heel. Very gently, we put the foot to foot, and hands here we are already lowering closer to the hips, parallel to the floor. Fingers turned to the side. So, what is very important here? A wing, directly the wing of a crane. How do we fulfill it? Pull out the brush, the middle and ring finger straight, the index little fingers are large upturned. It turns out such a deflection. Here is such a deflection, such a wing, the wing of a crane. That is, when we sit down after Calibri here, we are already beginning to form these wings at the level of the lower dantian. From here, we take root on the right leg and raise our arms, shoulder, elbow, and hand. Very smoothly inhale. At the same time we lift the leg up. We lift our legs and arms above our head, leave a gap above the biho point, above the crown, a gap approximately from the wrist, the size of the wrist width. That is, we do not close our hands and do not spread them wide. The hands are neither in front nor behind, exactly opposite the baihui, in the center. Accordingly, here is the inhale, here is the exhale. And let's try to do it on the other foot as well. Inhale. A little fixation and exhalation, shoulders, elbows, hands. Knees bent, Ming Meng opened. It was the second bird, the crane, and the third bird, the golden pheasant, which announces the coming of morning. We perform as follows. From this position, we unfold the hands, raise the hands in front of us, but pull back up. Inhale, open the hands, gently settle on the supporting leg, also the foot smoothly, gently put the fingers, pad, heel, foot to foot, and gently lower the hands, sitting down slightly. The hands stop at the level of the abdomen. That is, if before the start, we did our hands a little to the side, after 3 birds with 1 leg, we lower our hands at the level of the abdomen, palms parallel to the floor, fingers facing forward. We sat down a little. And from here, we are already starting from the other leg, the same thing. We inhale hummingbird, exhale. Crane, inhale. Exhale. And a golden pheasant. Inhale. Exhale. The hands also stop at the level of the abdomen, parallel to the floor, and we slightly crouch down at the same time. What else is important to remember when doing this exercise? That at the end of each inhalation, we do a small fixation, a small delay, and only then exhale. Exhale already in a calm, normal rhythm. Let's try together on one side and on the other side. We start with the left foot. Let's sit down a little. Another very important point, a very important detail in this exercise, is that when we sit down, we fix the balance, that the body weight is distributed on both legs. After we made a hummingbird swing, we lowered the leg, lowered our arms, and here again we caught ourselves at this moment of balance. The body weight is distributed over both legs. Then the crane, we lower our arms, lower our leg, and again, it is very important to catch this moment of balance, that the body weight is distributed on both legs. And then, the same thing is already a pheasant, and we lower it into our hands. Balance again. That is, every time the launch pad or pre-launch state is a state of equilibrium when the body weight is distributed over both feet. Let's try left and right. Closing the dantian. A little more about the pheasant. So, If it's clear with the crane, then we have wings here. Yes, this is the shape. When we make a pheasant swing, it doesn't matter here. The brush is in its usual state, but when we raise our hands in front of us, performing a pheasant, and here the brush is formed in a certain way. We pick up the fingers, starting from the little finger, ring finger, middle finger, pull up the index finger, and close it with the thumb. That is, the Shao Shen point on the thumb, next to the thumbnail, and the Shang Yang point next to the index fingernail closes. We make a hook like this, bend the arm at the wrist like this. That is, from this position, the palms were turned forward with the fingers. These hooks were formed here, like this. 1, 2. After that, we raise our hands up in front of us to a vertical position. At the same time, we pull the leg back, and it is very important that you take it to such a point that the leg, the body stretch out in one line, and the sole of the foot looks at the ceiling. And so on. In other words, it is very important that the foot rises high enough, but this is done whenever possible, of course. That is, the sole of the foot looks at the ceiling. All right, and now let's repeat left and right again. Let's associate it with breathing, freely, meditatively. Movements are uninhibited, liberated. Let's go. And now let's repeat all 8 exercises that we have already studied. Continuation of the next series.